Hello everyone, I'm back today with a kind of a cool thing. This is a Desert Storm Desert Shield scrapbook that I made when I was 8 years old in 1991. So next year, I believe, is the 35th anniversary of the war in Desert Storm. So I found this in a box in the closet. So I was 8 when I made this. Obsessed with the military, G.I. Joe, all that good stuff. So used to get the local paper. My dad would bring home a USA Today. I'd read through the whole thing, all about the war. And then I would cut the stuff out and put in this little scrapbook here. So not really sure what's in here, just a lot of random things. Looks like a USS, guessing maybe it's the Missouri there, I don't know. But just a lot of different things. Convoys. You know, it's crazy this war only lasted, what, 48 hours, something like that. And before all the Iraqi started surrendering. The cost of the wars is just crazy. Hard to believe, 10 years later, we'd be fighting another war. But definitely interesting here, just the history. President George H.W. Bush, and we talk about going in with strength, and that's exactly what we did. The buildup was much greater than the actual war. But I was 8 years old at the time, and definitely big into the military things here. So GIs play Saddam ball using a rolled-up chemical warfare boot as a ball and a pipe for a bat. This is kind of neat. This is my dad worked at General Motors and brought me home this. I always liked the Hummer, so that was one of the magazines. This is what I wrote on the back. War of 1990 and 1991, the Navy and the Army and the Marines and Air Force. Sorry, Coast Guard, we didn't make that in there. So then we got another one here. War of 1990 and 1991. A little map of Iraq and Iran here. To tape that in there. Remember the coverage on CNN, 24 hours a day, so this is some U.S. air crash in L.A. at that time. I used to cut these out of the paper and put them in the scrapbook. Yeah, Colin Powell, I'm guessing that's Secretary of Defense Dick Cheney right there. And old Storm and Norman. General Norman Schwarzkopf. Yep, 35 years since the Desert Storm. I know they're raising money now to do a Desert Storm monument in Washington, D.C. So that should be pretty neat. Yeah, looking at these pictures doesn't look much different than 2001 global war on terrorism. Yeah, a lot of similarities there. This guy here kind of looks like a Sergeant Slaughter from a G.I. Joe. Look at the pricing on that. Not very expensive to be dressed for combat then. $500,000 mines buried in Kuwait. Interesting. I wish I would have had more information on some of these, but at that time I was just a kid, just putting stuff in here. There you go. You're a soldier on the back. Isn't that funny? Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. If you guys remember that time of your life, I know a lot of the veterans my age all remember Desert Storm. So anyways, we'll talk to you later, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.